You know, a lot of rice is eaten in Belize, but that doesn't mean we don't have our fair share of dishes that uses corn tortilla. Those are known as Spanish foods. And today I'm going to teach you how to make chimole, or as it's known by its nickname, black soup or black dinner. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. So to make black soup, we're going to use ground beef. This is only about a half a pound because I'm going to make a small pot. And I just put it in the pot with no oil, and I had it start releasing its own oil, and we stir it. We don't want to break this up too much with the spoon because we want to get big chunks in our soup to eat. So we don't want to use the potato masher like when I did the meat pies. We have eggs that we're hard boiling. This is done. We're going to shut this off right now, and we're going to put some ice cubes and cold water on that so we could peel that easily. And then over here, we have this pot boiling with a little bit of oil, probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. And we have half a chicken that I cut up from before, and I season it the way I did with the stewed chicken. And we're going to put it in the pot, and we're going to make this chicken get brown. Back in a second. So here we have the ground beef. It's only been like a minute or so, but it's nice and brown. We're going to add some onion, just a little bit of cilantro. A word to the wise about cilantro. Cilantro is kind of like strong with a bitter taste with it sometimes if you use too much of it, so you only want a little. So while this is cooking, we add a little bit of water to the pot to quiet it. We don't want it to make it into a soup. And we're going to let this cook for about half hour so we can be sure that all this ground beef is cooked through and through so we don't get E. coli poisoning. Your ground beef is cooking for another minute or so. Like I said, we're going to do that for a half hour. Here's our chicken parts. And it's getting nice and golden brown because of the ricotta that we had. We put red ricotta on this because for this dinner we're going to end up using black ricotta. So I'll let this brown a little bit more, and then I'll add water to it to make the soup part. So the chicken is brown on both sides. We're going to add the remaining onion that we didn't put in the ground beef to the soup. I'm going to add a little bit of whatever marinade from when we season the chicken. And I call this the pot's angry sound. We're going to add 2 cups of water. It's going to end up being like 6 cups of water to make this to a soup. This is a 6-quart pot, and it's kind of short and stocky, so this soup will only feed about 4 or 5 people. And I think we need another 2 cups of water to this, and it's going to allow it to cook there for about a half hour to make sure that the chicken is cooked. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and peel the eggs and set it aside and keep an eye on the ground beef. And then when we come back, I'll show you how to add the black ricotta to this soup to make it what it is, the chimole. Chicken and the ground beef is cooking on the stove behind me. The eggs are already peeled and ready for the soup. So here we have black ricotta, and we're going to be making this into a paste and putting it in the soup to make it black. Now black ricotta is the same as red ricotta, except they have other spices in there to make it hot, like with pepper. So with this, we're going to be strictly doing it according to how dark the pot's getting and how hot it's getting. So I'm going to work this into a watery paste, and it's going to get on my nails, but it's okay because we can get it clean. And you'll see this paste in a little while. So this is about 20 or 25 minutes that our ground beef's been cooking. See, they're not in too small of a chunks. They could have even been in bigger chunks if you like it. We want this water to cook pretty much out of it, not too dry, but this is too much water, so we'll let it cook another 10 minutes. See, our eggs are peeled and ready. Here's our soup going with the chicken and the onions and stuff that I put before. So now I'm going to add the paste that I was mixing down a while ago through a strainer. This is the trick. A lot of people do this dinner really, really good, but they don't put this black ricotta through a strainer, and then when you eat it, you taste like you're biting into sand or mud. You don't want that taste at all. See how goldeny? Well, not goldeny, but see how black and beautiful the color is for this soup. And this can be reused. You can water that down some more and reuse it. But this is pretty much how the color of the soup is going to be when it's done. Let me get this out the way. We're going to add like 2 teaspoons of salt. The black ricotta already has salt in it, so we have to watch. But I'd say 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, and then we're going to add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of black pepper. Now let me tell you a little story about why my black pepper is in this little cookie bin. We have a lot of trouble with ants where I live in California, And and the ants eat everything, salt, black pepper, whatever. And I get the black pepper like this. It has these big holes. It never fails when you're doing that in a pot. This thing pops right off. There's a whole batch of black pepper in there. And I found a lot of people complain about this black pepper from Costco like that. So I just toss it in this bin and I just measure loosely and use my teaspoons for what I need. So when I come back, we'll be adding the eggs, the ground beef, and some chopped up tomatoes and the salt and pepper to this soup, and I'll show you how you serve it with corn tortilla. I used a skimmer to get the ground beef out of the pan without putting all the oil in, so the ground beef's in there, the chicken's in there. I'm going to put the eggs in. Careful not to get burned when you're dropping these things in because the pot's hot, it's still cooking. And then this is one whole diced tomato that we're putting in. And we don't want this tomato to really cook and get too soft. So what we do at this point, see, look at this soup. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so awesome. So we're going to put the lid on. And we're going to turn the fire to low for about a minute. Then we're going to shut the fire off completely and let the tomatoes just steep in there to get a little bit soft. In the meanwhile, like maybe 3 tortillas can fit on this. We're going to heat this up, flip it over on both sides. I try not to do too many things in the microwave. So if you notice when I'm cooking, a lot of things done on the stove. So when I come back, I'm going to show you the finished product. We're going to serve a hot bowl of this soup with the tortilla. So you've seen me talk about my cookbook before. Keep checking the website for when the banner changed from coming soon to available now. And Chimole is in the soup section on page 108 in my book. The recipe for Chimole like I just showed you. So let me show you our finished product. This is our bowl of Chimole. I used a spaghetti or pasta server to scoop the ground beef and the egg and the tomatoes and everything off the bottom of the pot so each bowl could get a good amount, and then we used a soup spoon to just serve the rest of the soup. So if you check in the soup, we have tomato, it's not too overdone. We have the ground beef, big chunks of it, and then we have the boiled egg. And the egg serving is according to what you want. Some people eat 2 eggs in their soup, some people eat 1. And then we have chicken. And you can do the soup with just thighs and anything that releases a lot of gravy, but I used half of a chicken. I just cut the whole chicken in half and used it. And then I have some corn tortillas that I heated up on the comal. And then the way you would serve the soup is you'd put like the pieces in the tortilla like that. You fold it. Oh, not doing a good job. And you dip it in there and you eat, or you know, whichever way you want to serve it, which is better. But this is one of the authentic Billy's meals. Keep in mind that the way I cook for the Bear Pantry show is what I have in my pantry is what I use. If I didn't have cilantro, I would have done the soup without it. If I didn't have ground beef, I would have made the soup without it. But we would have not starved. We would have eaten something. Thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with my voice. I caught a cold last week, but I'm getting over it. And I wanted to do this soup because a lot of people have asked me to make this one. They call it black soup or black dinner or chimole. There's another one called ricotta that's similar, but you do something, you keep the chicken whole. I'll make that one another time in the future, but the next video is coming up. I'm going to start making pastries because Christmas is coming up soon and I want to teach you how to make black cake. Until I see you again, take care. Megan, this is for you. This is for my cousin Megan. She just loves this soup. Come see me. Bye-bye.